Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is in the cosmos, whenever this is finding you today. Welcome to Kai Chi Alchemy. You can call me Katchi. This is a space of love, y'all. Welcome or welcome back. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thank you for co-creating community with me. And thank you for all of that engagement, all the likes and the shares and the subscribes and the comments, all of that. Hello, hello, welcome in. Oh my goodness. I was really wanting to see about doing a little bit of cartomancy with this chapter today, but I don't want to destroy the box in the process of trying to get inside of the box. There may be a message in there somewhere. It's I still have this harp out on the table from the last reading, and I found out recently that the Sabian symbol for this full moon in Capricorn that we have coming up in a few days is an angel holding a harp. And so it's like with harps, they've got strings, you gotta tune it just right. You gotta make sure the strings aren't too tight or too loose, so they make sound and they make the right sound, and they can help you to, create the thing that you're trying to create with it. So, there's definitely something here about action being necessary. We're about to come into a Mars and Uranus conjunction, which is very intense and wild energy. So I think that it would be an excellent idea to acknowledge and mentally prepare for and accept the intensity, the nature of the energy right now, and dive into it, take full advantage of it. Make sure that you know where you would like that energy to go, because some intensity is going to happen one way or the other. So might as well, direct it in a direction that is useful and beneficial and preferable to you. But it's not just like go ham, go crazy, Mars and Uranus, like freak out. It's more like let's take this crazy energy and get real dialed in and real intentional and real specific about it. There we go. All right. Let me make sure we don't have any of these extra cards in here. And today we're going to be reading the chapter called Fellowship of Russian Entrepreneurs. Yesterday, when we were reading the beginning of Perestroika, I left and I went on to the channel and I couldn't find the video uploading anywhere, which I've never seen happen before, so I wasn't sure if it was going to come through or not, but I have double checked and fixed all of that. So if you would like to watch the previous chapter, maybe after we're done here, that is available up on the lives section. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until I'm gonna give everybody 2 or 3 strikes, depending on what kind of unnecessary and abusive language people are using, and that's kind of up to me. All right. Let's see here. Spirit, is there anything that the collective gathered here today would benefit from seeing, hearing, feeling, experiencing? Is there any more clarification or depth that we would benefit from, digging into this angel holding a harp, full moon in Capricorn energy here? All right, let's see if I can remember. 8 of Hearts. So this would be 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is all about walking away, leaving something behind, something that maybe you were pretty committed to, attached to for one reason or another, and coming to the realization that, it's not what you wanted, there is no victory here. I thought I planted a carrot, but it turned out to be a sunflower or a peony. So I think that for a lot of y'all, there is that particular flavor to the changes and the actions that you're being called into during this transit, and to get really intentional and reflective about the areas in your life that aren't feeling aligned anymore. This isn't just like letting go of what no longer serves you. This is going to take some action, some intention, some work. It's going to be not the easiest thing in the world. It's an 8. It's like plutonic. It's like scorpionic. It's intense. But when you leave those 8 cups behind and you go off into the unknown, then you make all of this space for whatever is meant for you next. We have the Joker on the bottom of the deck. I'm just getting like the literal Joker there. Heyoka empaths may be some kind of relevance or confirmation for some of y'all. All right, that is that. Hello, hello. Good evening. Yeah, I mean, actually, the cards that we've used today aren't technically tarot cards. We also use some oracle decks and things like that. I also practice divination with art and books and music and all kinds of stuff. But in general, to keep it simple, yes, it's a tarot channel. And I do lots of other things, but that is what we're geared towards here at Kai Chi Alchemy. And today, the message that I am bringing through to y'all is from this book that we've been reading. It's part of a 8, 9, 10 book series called the Ringing Cedars of Russia series, or the Ringing Cedars series. This is book 2. It's called The Ringing Cedars of Russia. This is the 2nd edition that I have here. And if you are curious and you'd like to listen to any of the previous chapters and get that context, you can find the Ringing Cedars series playlist in the playlist section on the Kai Chi Alchemy page. Hello, welcome. Yeah, good evening. Thank you for being here. All right, so chapter 18, Fellowship of Russian Entrepreneurs. The idea of a fellowship meant that it would be open to any entrepreneurs who had been active in the Russian market for at least a year and were sincerely striving to develop honest relationships, not only with each other, but with their clients and employees. Representatives of various nonprofit societies tried to persuade me that today's entrepreneurs were cool to the idea of any form of organization, that the age of faith-based euphoria had passed, and that membership in societies one could join simply by paying a modest fee had diminished catastrophically. They argued, furthermore, that the idea of organizing a fellowship with additional requirements involving the ethical standards of both the entrepreneur and the enterprise was simply absurd. My old friend Artem Tarasov, having heard about my arrival in Moscow and what I was up to, came to one of the round tables. He set to work on drafting documents, including an appeal to entrepreneurs. He laid out several thousands of dollars so I could make up glossy brochures to give out to delegates at a small business congress being organized in Moscow. But the Congress organizers decided not to allow any brochures on the fellowship to be handed out, no doubt fearing competition from us. As a result, secretarial staff and students positioned themselves just outside the entrances to the Rosia Hotel, trying to hand delegates folders containing the brochures. They stood there withstanding both the cold and attempts to chase them away by the militia, who thought some kind of illegal selling might be taking place. Artem Tarasov still managed to take a package of brochures into the Kremlin Palace of Congresses, where the Congress was being held, though unfortunately only a rather small quantity. The operation we had placed so many of our hopes on ended in failure. Organizing the fellowship was proving to be an impossibility. The difficulty was that getting the necessary information out to all the entrepreneurs across the country required a huge outlay of rubles on printing and postage costs, since favorable responses were coming in from only 10% of the people we managed to reach. The required funds were simply not available. Besides, the league executive kept back a portion of the membership fees as office space rent, as they had no other source of funds. Sensing some sort of snag, the league stopped giving out money for organizational expenses altogether, in spite of the fact that the membership fees had been specifically earmarked for organizational expenses. The league needed to use the entrepreneurs' membership fees just to cover operating costs, they explained. Then they began holding back wage payments for the secretarial staff. I was obliged to vacate the league's premise, leaving behind my second computer, which had been purchased with funds from the entrepreneurs who had joined the fellowship. How come? Queried the students in bewilderment. Students who had spent hours working out computer programs at their own expense. We've been doing the work which this nonprofit organization, according to its own constitution, is supposed to carry out, and here they're treating us like tenants and spitting on the entrepreneurs in the process. The league executive argued, the office rent must be paid. With what was left, the secretarial staff With what was left of the secretarial staff, I tried to carry on the work out of one of the entrepreneurial trades union offices, but the same situation repeated itself there. After getting to know the leaders of several nonprofit organizations, I suddenly realized that they all had titles but no membership. Something like the so-called sofa parties, existing only for the benefit of their executives. While this was not true of the Farmers and Peasants Association, headed by Vladimir Bashmachnikov, and there may be other exceptions, this was the general state of affairs at the time. Even today, there is no nonprofit organization in Russia bringing together any significant number of entrepreneurs, and those that do exist are of the sofa party variety. Why? Among the possible causes, I would include the anonymity of membership fees. For some reason, it always happens that once an executive body is created, it starts making decisions on behalf of entrepreneurs without consulting the majority. Walking away from the trades union office, I now found myself without any means of communication and without anything to live on. Artem Tarasov had by this time emigrated to London. He had tried to get himself on the ballot for the Russian presidency and had spent billions of rubles collecting the required signatures, but when the Central Election Committee invalidated most of those signatures, Artem was obliged to look after repairing his own financial affairs. The local residents working in the secretariat, not receiving any pay, were obliged to quit. I was left all alone, Or rather, I thought I had been left all alone. But 3 Moscow students weren't about to abandon the work they had started. Anton, Artem, and Lyosha. Anton actually used his own holiday savings to pay the monthly rent on an apartment for me. They were willing to wait until I sought and found a way out of my present circumstances and could continue my work on creating the fellowship. They had got caught up by the whole idea. They believed in it, but I could not see anything ahead but a dead end. It was right at this time that some news arrived from Novosibirsk. This chapter ended on page 111, and the next chapter is called Smooicide? Question mark. Oh man. Okay. Well, the last chapter that we read, we were talking about how Vladimir had a vision and a dream for creating this fellowship, for creating this organization, for creating this community. And so he had to put in the work to try and create it. And I think that that message is relevant to everybody, regardless of how things turn out afterwards, you know? But how things turned out for him with this particular fellowship of entrepreneurs that he was working on, he repeatedly had this experience of needing to walk away because he realized that the people that he was partnering with were not serious. They were not coming from the same place. They didn't have the same values, the same commitment, the same intentions. And so he had to start over multiple times, right? And that is something that a lot of y'all are being asked to do around this summer solstice, full moon time, is let go of something that you thought was like connection and community and emotional fulfillment in some way. And you realize this is not what I thought it was, and I need to walk away, I need to make space, I need to take action to move forward somewhere else. And it's interesting that he was saying that he ended up working with a really tight-knit group in really unlikely circumstances where they were all very committed to achieving their goals. But it didn't look likely. And the people that were helping him at the time were a bunch of young, did he say students? I know that they were, you know, youngins, young folks. Let's see here. Yeah. 3 Moscow students. Exactly. So, in the process of trying to create something, he realized that his initial vision for what that creation wasn't realistic. He had to adjust some things, but it was through the process of just getting started and going for it that he found the failure and the opportunity to go forward in a more aligned way with these people that, you know, are part of this student archetype, you know, these young people that are still full of hopes and dreams and have not allowed their bitterness and resentment and experiences to cloud their judgment. Usually, the older people get, the more each time they struggle to embody forgiveness and move through the challenges in their life without allowing it to make them bitter. And when you are working towards a mission from that kind of place, you don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of security. You're doing it for other reasons and other motivations. It very much reminds me of when I was co-founding a private school based on the Sudbury Valley model when I was like 13, 14, 12, somewhere in there. And we had a whole group, like a core group of people. There was some shifting and changing, but we had this core group of people that was part of this founders group. And we had motivations because we worked in schools, because we had children, because we were children, because we wanted to be a part of the school. But we also had this guy, I think his name was Alex, who would show up to a lot of these meetings and do all this work to help us because he was fascinated with the project that we were working on. And he was a University of Texas student, I believe. And he wasn't getting money from what we were doing. He wasn't getting security. He wasn't getting fed. I mean, sometimes we had like some potlucks and stuff, but like he wasn't getting these tangible things out of it. And he was busy. He was a student. Like and you know, he's one of those children of immigrant parents kind of thing. Like he had a lot going on. He had a lot to do. He didn't really have time for us, but he made time because he was passionate about the kind of community that we were trying to create. And he wasn't even trying to create it for himself, he was trying to create it for the people that were going to be a part of the school. And me, even though I was kind of the age where I could have gone and spent my high school years at the school that we started, I wasn't 100% certain that that's what I was going to do when I was in the founders group, and I ended up not going down that path at all. Anyways, I think I went for like 1 year as a student, just to like help things get off the ground and all of that. But similarly, I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't gaining security out of this, and I knew even if we started the school before I graduated and I got to benefit from that experience, um, that I wasn't going to be able to get the full intended experience of what this thing was that we were creating. And I wanted to create that school more than anything because I wanted it to exist for the families that it needed to exist for, right? So think about what you're working on right now, where you're pouring in your energy, who you're connected to, and do you feel like you have that kind of alignment of values, that kind of intensity, of intention and commitment? You know what I mean? Lovely grammar. My dad would love that. As in Donald Trump or as in like the Trump card? Lacking context. Hello. I'm so confused by what you're trying to do, but it's been at least 3 unhelpful messages, so I'm just going to block you and remove you. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. 5-5 on the viewer and like count right now, so that's interesting. I am going to pull a card to clarify a little bit about what the majority of the people in this collective are dealing with this Eight of Cups energy, okay? Spirit, is there anything that needs to be clarified here about this collective building community in a new place? We got Ace of Pentacles and Two of Pentacles. Okay. I know we were just talking about security and not needing security, but I think here there may be something about a physical manifestation. I mean, the Ace of Pentacles is really just like God handing you something. It's a wish fulfillment. It's usually an object or a physical thing or like a money, a land, like an earthy thing. But it's not necessarily security. It's like the big dream. It's the biggest dream. It's the one thing, maybe it's physical, but it's like the one thing you really, 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 really want. And the Two of Pentacles is a card of like weighing, juggling options, being at a crossroads, struggling to decide something. So I think it's before you're able to step away from whatever is not serving you right now in community and connection in this cups, heart-based, emotional kind of space in order to make way for a new, more aligned space in those regards, I am seeing that you've been kind of juggling in your mind the reward, the benefit, the light at the end of the tunnel, the coin, the pentacle, the wish fulfillment that you see potentially in your future. And you see two different options, maybe multiple, that can just like be representative of plurality, right? But it's like you're juggling, weighing, like if I go this way, then this is gonna happen. If I go this way, then this is gonna happen. So which one should I do? Which one should I go for? Honestly, I feel like we should clarify that a little bit as well. Spirit, Freya, Polly, Michael, Mary, thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your wisdom. What are these two options, and why is this collective struggling to choose between the two paths that they feel like they have up ahead of them? Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Well, Two of Clubs, it's Two of Wands. So it's like, you know, looking out into your future, looking out into what you want to create. Yeah, I know. They're thinking about it, they're feeling about it, they're looking at the options, they're juggling the options. What is going to assist them in making this decision, and what is the hold up? What is the hang up? What is the fear? What is the fear? I mean, the fear of making the wrong choice, obviously, always is part of it, right? When you're stuck, when you're in this stuck energy. The Two of Wands is like an intention. It's like looking at your future with intention, with expectation, almost with like a excitement. It's like a quiet, stoic, calm kind of excitement. But, you know, it's setting your sights on that future. And that's a very different energy from the Two of Pentacles. Because you're considering and you're thinking but like you're going back and forth, you're juggling these two pentacles. With the Two of Wands, it's like you're looking through these two wands. You know, it's a portal. It's a portal. Okay, so right now you're trying to look at the more physical, earthly side of the pros and cons of the two different paths that you have available to you at this time, the two or more paths that you have available to you at this time. And that is what is holding you back and keeping you stuck from moving forward into potentially exploring this potential Ace of Cups or Ace of Pentacles rather in your future. And so I think that the main thing that you're being advised right now is that in order to move forward in the most effective way possible, you're being encouraged to loosen your grip on this physical side of things, on this practical pros and cons list. Let go of the earth side of it. Let go of the root chakra side of it, and open up to the spiritual fire side of it. Open yourself up to the inspiration side of it. If you can come towards this decision with a different energy and not be in such a space of like black and white thinking and practicality, which can bring you into your reptilian mind and bring you into a space of like thinking about your fear and like what you're trying to avoid. Think less about what you're trying to avoid, because you're looking at both these options and you're like, I really want to avoid all the cons of this. I really want to avoid all the cons of this. Which one's worse? I can't really tell. They both suck. Right? Stop focusing on the cost. Stop thinking about the cost. Start thinking about the pros. Start thinking about the inspiration. Start thinking about the feeling that is inspired within you when you think about those different options, when you feel into those different options, and don't over intellectualize it and over analyze it. Clarifying the Two of Clubs, we have the Five of Diamonds, which is the Five of Pentacles. What? Well, yeah, exactly. The Five of Pentacles is a card of feeling left out in the cold. In the original Rider-Waite tarot deck, it's like these two people, they're like on crutches, they're in the snow, they're locked out of this church. Yeah. So you're being asked to choose, not between the two or more paths that you have potentially in front of you. The actual choice that you're being asked to make, the actual choice that you are being asked to make to bring you closer towards this ultimate wish fulfillment is the choice between the energy of being left out in the cold, the energy of lack, the energy of fear, the energy of shame, the energy of betrayal, the energy of abandonment, the energy of the projection of past hurts and failures towards the future, or being focused on the energy of inspiration, of spirit, of fire. Less earth, more fire. Which is quite appropriate given the fact that we started off this video talking about Uranus and Mars coming into a conjunction in the near future here. Uranus is very fiery in that it's like kind of Aquarian, kind of electric, you know? and Mars is like fire, fire. And they're coming together. And so if you tune more into that fire energy and get a little bit more spiritually based in your thought process and your decision making, then paradoxically, you will actually generate the opportunity for greater security and greater physical wish fulfillment. How interesting. Wow. All right. I do have to get going. I look forward very much to reading this next chapter with y'all and doing some more cartomancy because this has been very fun. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions, any requests, and save those for next time so you can go ahead and put them in the chat. I don't think that they ended up coming back for this live because it wasn't pre-scheduled. So when they come into the chat, I will answer then. But I just wanted to say, last time we were talking about what a good place to start is when going through the Kai Chi Alchemy videos and resources. And I think one of the best things to do, if you're asking that, would be to watch Manipulation and Martyrdom, which is one of the very, very, very first videos I ever recorded. So you can go on the videos tab, go all the way to the bottom, and you'll find the Manipulation and Martyrdom video, because I think that that sets the stage for a lot of the concepts that we go into in those videos that followed. Because in Manipulation and Martyrdom, we do a really good job of like digging into the full spectrum of different sides of how people respond to their challenges and their traumas and their life experiences, and how that affects themselves, the people around them, how they interact. So I think that that's a really, really good place to start as far as like tarot videos. And then I would also recommend going onto the Oracle Jams playlist, putting it on shuffle, and letting it play. We have like almost 200 songs in there now, and each of those is a song that I was actively channeling at the time when I was posting it, but then we keep them all saved so that wherever you are in space and time, that theme, that frequency, that energy, that lesson can find you. So, Manipulation and Martyrdom, Oracle Jams. And then my third recommendation would be to go into these zodiac readings that I've got in the playlist section. Actually, it's not really a playlist. There's like one or two in each of them so far. And we'll get around to more of that. But yeah, go ahead and find whatever you like to watch there. Your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus, your Mars, your North Node, your descendant, whatever is calling to you there. And then once you've done all of that, feel free to reach back out to me and let me know. Ask some questions there. Feel free to email me. I do not make any promises to get back to anybody until September because of how things are going in my life. But if I happen to see it, I love to connect with y'all. So feel free to give it a shot. And at the very least, I will catch you in September. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. I hope you have a great evening or whatever time it is, where you're at. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility. I will see you next time.